Hi, everybody. I'm Purva Thakkar from Lane Train team. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. As you currently, Hi, everybody. I'm Purva Thakkar from Lane Train team. Thank you so much all. Hi, Hi, everybody. I'm Purva Thakkar from Lane Train team. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. As many of you know, in current market scenario, there are many buyers out there who are ready to buy a house, and there are very few sellers who are ready to sell a home. This whole situation creates this imbalance between supply and demand, which create the situation of bidding war, which means which create the situation of bidding war, which brings me to my question. Are you ready for a bidding war? I hear these terms a lot where people say, I'm working with listing agent. I would rather work with seller's agent. I'm not interested working with buyer's agent. Let me ask you this. Why? I hear these terms a lot where people say, I'm working with listing agent. I would rather work with seller's agent. I'm not interested working with buyer's agent. Which brings me to my today's topic, why you should hear this terms a lot where a client says, I'm working with listing agent. I would rather work with seller's agent. I'm not interested working with buyer's agent. Which brings me to my today's topic, why you should hire buyer's agent. Let me share my screen here today. Why you should hire seller's agent. Why you should hire buyer's agent. There are a few points here I would like to share. Everybody has this question that I don't need buyer's agent. I would rather work with seller's agent. Here are the points I would like to share. First thing first, you might pay more than what you should be paying for the house. Because seller's agent represent seller, they are bound to represent only seller. That means if in the scenario of negotiation, first thing, you might pay more than you should for the house. You're not fully represented by the listing agent, which means they are protecting seller's interest, which means they are protecting seller's interest. They can't really negotiate for you when they can't they can't really negotiate for you. They are fully protecting seller's interest. First, you might pay more than you should for the house. Listing agent by law are listing agent by law, they have to represent seller, which means they protect seller's interest, which means in the position of negotiation, they can't really negotiate for you. If there are if there are multiple offers on the table, they can't really negotiate for you. They can't really work for you because by law they have to represent seller, which means you might end up paying more than what you should be paying for the house. Second is you could be at the mercy of the listing agent. Because seller's agent protects seller's interest, which means they cannot, because listing agent protects seller's interest, they would not disclose few property information to you, which means listing agents solely represent seller. They only work for seller, which means because listing agent represent seller, they might, because listing agent work, because listing agent present seller, they would not disclose few information. They would not disclose few facts about the properties. As buyer's agent, we know we can ask those questions on behalf of you. We know what to ask. We know what to gather the information, how to gather the information, or what to ask in the benefit for you. Next is buyer's agent will handle all the complexity of the transaction for you. As you know, buying a property involves a lot of reports, a lot of forms, a lot of transaction, a lot of disclosures. And honestly, there are many jargons involved in this all forms and transaction. As you know, buying a property involves a lot of forms, a lot of reports, as you know, buying a property involves a lot of forms, a lot of reports, a lot of disclosure. Honestly, there are many jargons involved in all these forms and reports and disclosures. We know all those jargons. Honestly, we are trained to do all this. We know how to fill up the report. We know what can work for you. We know how to represent. We are trained. Next is your buyer's agent will handle all the complexity of the transaction for you. As you know, buying a property involves a lot of forms, a lot of reports, a lot of disclosures, and there are lots of jargons involved in all these reports and forms and disclosure. Honestly, we are trained to do all this. We know what reports to ask. We know how to fill up the form. We know what disclosure we can ask for the property. We can handle all that for you. And did you know that you can lose up to 3% of the sale price to the seller if you do any mistake in filling out all those information or end up going to court or end up in a court? Lastly, your job is not to lastly, it's our job to find a perfect home for you. We are the expert of the market. We know what's going on out there. We can research it for you. There are a lot of properties out there which doesn't even hit the public platform. There are a lot of off-market and coming soon listing which gets sold even before hitting the public platform. And we have all those access. We can access all those properties for you. We can show all those properties for you. We can talk on behalf of you. We know what's best for you. We can work for you. So if you are one of the buyer out there who is looking to buy a property, who is looking So if you are one of the buyer out there who is looking to buy a property, or if you have any question regarding buying or selling process, or even current scenario, even current market scenario, if you have any question, you can call me, email me, or even comment below and ask question. I'll make sure I reach out to you. Thank you all so very much. Have a great day, everybody.